Hello, hello, hello. It is 6 o'clock, you guys. Hello. Hey, you guys, it's Soul Searching Sunday, and I have a message for you tonight. Won't be on long, but definitely necessary. Waiting for a few people to get on. When I get to 10, I'm going to start talking. Hope you guys are having an awesome Sunday. You are here live with Yvette with Soul Searching Sunday. And so I've searched my soul. I'm going to give y'all what God told me to give y'all, and then I'm going to run off. Hello, ma'am. Good evening to you, too. Thank you for supporting me, and hopefully I'm saying something that's beneficial to you guys. Hey, Jay. Hey, Terry. All right. Hello, Gloria. Again, you guys have tuned in to my version of Soul Searching Sunday. And I'm not going to be long, but I am going to say what I think God told me to share with you all. And I want to always start out with doing a disclaimer. My disclaimer is this: I'm not here as someone who has mastered perfection. I'm here as a person who's striving to get things right, just like you. And for whatever reason, God has given me this assignment to share a lot of what I've gone through with the hopes of you not having to go through it, if that makes sense. I'm here just to simply share some things that I've gone through with the hopes that you won't have to go through it. And if you've gone through it with me, then maybe I'm here to encourage you to tell your daughters or your sons or the young people that are behind you what we did so they don't make the same mistake. So I have all this wealth of information that I've experienced on my parenting journey. And if any of you all have read any of my books, you know I've talked extensively about how I absolutely loved the experience of raising my girls. I think that God knew what I was going through, and so he was quite kind to me. But did I make some mistakes along the way? Yes, indeed. And so when I posted earlier today, I said that your Christmas tree had sent me a message. And I needed to tell you what the tree said to tell you. So perhaps you don't have a Christmas tree in your house. Maybe you have a wreath. Maybe you don't even have a wreath. Like, I don't even have anything, because I don't have any children in my home. But on a serious note, I need you guys again. I see a lot of people have came on, and so I want you guys again to know my disclaimer is I'm not here as someone who has mastered anything. I'm just here to give you some tips on some things that I've done wrong with the hopes of you doing it right. Some things I've done wrong with the hopes of you doing it right. Okay? So my story for tonight is a little painful. Every year for Christmas, when my girls early on, because we kind of stopped doing the Christmas tree later on in their lives, but at the first part of my second marriage, which I was in for over 20 years, we would go through the rigmarole of buying all this stuff and getting into all of these arguments and cussing and fussing. And I remember one time me and my husband had a huge argument over batteries. Like, we had all these gifts for the children, and we had this knockout, drag out argument over batteries. Nobody got batteries for any of the toys. And I think we had went shopping together, so it was like an assumed responsibility. You were there with me. Why didn't you remind me? Well, hell, why you ain't say nothing? And excuse me for cursing, because I ain't quite arrived in that particular area of life. So I'm going to try to keep it as clean as possible. But sometimes when I get passionate about what I'm sharing, a word or two may slip up. So back to my story. We're constantly going back and forth about these batteries. And I remember as if it was yesterday, you guys, literally crying myself to sleep. I was so mad that the next morning my children would wake up to open up all these toys, but wouldn't be able to play with them because neither one of us had bought batteries. And this was in the mid 90s. So this was before stores were open, before Walmart became a 24-hour shopping store. So there was no store to go to. There was no solution to the problem. And I remember us getting up and going to church that morning, not speaking. So I get up and I say Merry Christmas to the children, but I ain't saying Merry Christmas to my husband. We're not talking. We spent the whole Christmas day not speaking, not interacting with each other behind batteries, and then expected the children. Listen to this. When I look back and think about how crazy, we expected the children to have a Merry Christmas. So I'm here to say to you all, you're expecting your children to have a Merry Christmas, then make sure it's merry in your home. Because I didn't do that most of the time. There was a lot of, and then we were maybe mad because you spent too much or you didn't spend enough or whatever the situation. It seemed like every year there was something we were in odds about and not speaking come Christmas morning. So how in the world were the children supposed to have a Merry Christmas if there was no Merry in the house, especially if they had heard mom and dad fussing and cussing the whole night? Because you know they supposed to be asleep so they don't get any dust or sand or whatever that was called back then in their eyes. So they supposed to be in their room sleep. But you know they can hear us out there arguing over who forgot to buy the batteries for all of the different devices that were purchased. But yet and still, we expect the children to have a Merry Christmas. So my story or my plea to you is your Christmas tree is telling you they're tired of hearing you all cussing and fussing. There is no Merry in the house. And maybe that's not your story. If it's not, and you're like, wow, that's sad, I am so happy for you. But for those of us who failed the test, for those of us who, and I know that I'm not alone, for those of us who have gone year after year, Christmas after Christmas, and cussed and fussed all the way up until Christmas morning, and then you expect the household to have a Merry Christmas, I'm sad to tell you, it doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. One of the things that I loved about me teaching anger management was that the first thing I learned was how to control myself. And the first thing I learned was that my household started changing when I started using the very things that I was teaching my students. Again, if any of you all have read my book, I talk about how that job saved my life. A friend contacted me and said, hey, I know you're kind of looking for some extra income. I think you would be great at this job I'm doing. And I'm thinking, you got to be crazy. You really must don't know me. Because at that point, there was nothing about me or in me that needed to be teaching anger management. But when I tell you God will bless you in the most amazing ways, he will. So I go for the interview. Of course, I do well. Of course, the lady hires me. But of course, out of the bat, when I'm reading the material, I'm like, oh my God, I need this. I need to be doing these things. And so the quicker I started implementing the things that I was teaching, the more I started seeing things change in my household. It wasn't that the atmosphere or the world was changing. It was how I was dealing with things. For instance, as soon as he walked in the house, is it really necessary for me to go off on him because he forgot to take the trash out as soon as he walks in the door? Maybe he had a hard day at work. Maybe there was traffic or somebody almost cut him off and he almost saw his light flash before he got home. All kind of things. If we'll just slow down and talk to each other and how was your day? Or one of the things I love to tell people is allow time to be your friend, if that makes sense. Allow time to be your friend. I learned to allow time to be my friend. Even now, I'm learning to allow time to be my friend. Do I need to approach every situation right then and there? There are some situations you do need to approach, but timing is everything. And so when I learned not to attack him, as soon as he walked in the door, I noticed the atmosphere shifted. I noticed my children woke up happier in the morning when they didn't have to go to bed with listening to us cuss each other out the night before. You see, one of the things I want to share with you all is I can be clear and honest and talk to you all about all the things I did wrong because that was my past. But the question is, am I talking about your future? Are these things happening in your home right now? Or better yet, for those of you all who are my age, do you know that these things are happening in your children's homes? Because they saw them happening in our home. You see them acting like you, but you don't want to admit they got it from you. So you watching your children suffer by default. You see, I try to tell mine when I try in a helpful, loving way. I try to help them to see that's not what you want to do. So I'm asking you, are the things that I'm mentioning, the confusion, the animosity, all of that that's happening in your home as you're preparing for Christmas? What is Christmas is on Friday. So as of today, have there been a lot of cussing and fussing and arguing around the Christmas tree? The Christmas tree probably wishing, I wish you hadn't put me up. I wish you'd have just left me in the attic or left me at the store because this is too much. What is your Christmas tree saying right about now? Or what will your Christmas tree say on Friday morning? Will your Christmas tree be saying Merry Christmas? Or, oh my goodness, I can't wait till they take me down because this is too much. There's just been too much fussing and cussing and arguing in this household. I'm ready for them to take these ornaments off of me and put me back in the attic or put me outside on the curb so I can get picked up. What is your Christmas tree saying right about now? Or what will your Christmas tree be saying on Friday morning? Is your household saying, or will it be singing Merry Christmas? Is it really a Merry Christmas? And I share that from the deepest part of my soul. Like that's just one incident I'm sharing with you all about the batteries, because I remember we almost had a wreck. We were arguing so much on the way from Toys R Us. Me and my ex-husband, we were arguing so much on the way from Toys R Us that we almost had a wreck. So I remember that particular year very vividly. And I don't even remember what we were arguing about on the way from Toys R Us. But then we got home, and in the midst of that argument, we realized we didn't have any batteries for any of these devices we had bought the children. Whatever the Barbie doll is supposed to do, move, speak, talk, whatever. It wasn't going to do nothing in the morning because there were no batteries. And again, there were no stores that we could run to. This was before Walmart was a 24-hour store. So I'm sharing with you all what I did so you won't do it. I'm sharing with you all what I did so you won't do it. I hope that makes sense. We did all that spending money that we didn't have to make the children happy, to have a Merry Christmas, only to ruin Christmas ourselves. There was no Merry in our house because we had cussed and fussed with each other probably all week. And like I said, I know for sure that night leading up to Christmas Eve. And I know for sure the Christmas Eve night, we went to bed not speaking. I know for sure we did not speak to each other all day. We didn't even say Merry Christmas to each other. But the children were supposed to have a Merry Christmas. Help that make sense for me. I need y'all to help me help that make sense. It doesn't make sense. So for all of you all that are out shopping and buying all these things for your children and going through all these extremes of buying food and getting ready to start cooking and all those wonderful things, make sure your household Make sure the walls, make sure the curtains, make sure the Christmas tree, make sure the wreath, make sure the place that you're going to put that good food on is saying Merry Christmas. Because if you're doing everything but praying and thanking God for whatever food you have, whatever money you have to buy, then it's not going to be a Merry Christmas. Your children will probably wind up doing what I'm doing, writing books and on Facebook Live trying to save somebody else because they didn't save themselves. At some point, you guys, we've got to do better. And I know I was commissioned. I know that God put me, he allowed me to live so I could come back and tell you all the mistakes I made. So you don't make the same mistakes expecting better results. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I know that I have a heart for young women and young mothers. You guys are in my inbox after I do these soul searching Sundays, so I know that I'm necessary. But don't just hear me and then keep doing the same thing. If we could just do one lesson this week. Like I said, today is Sunday, Christmas is Friday. As you guys are leading up to Christmas and you're doing your finishing of shopping and buying whatever food you need or whatever so your house could smell good. It's going to be a fight in there because there's no Mary in the house, but the food and the smell is fighting with the anger. So you eating the food mad. I mean, like, I cannot tell you how many years I remember us not speaking or saying Merry Christmas to each other because we had fought all the way up to Christmas morning. But we expected the children to have a Merry Christmas. I promise you, those children will not remember the toys as much as they will remember the mess, the confusion. You know why? Because I'm finna drop another nugget. As Kayla was getting ready to go to college, we were in the garage looking through some stuff or whatever, me, her, and Jada, and they started reminiscing. They started talking about, Mama, remember that time when you and Daddy this, that, and the other? And I was shamed, you guys. I was shamed that my children could recall such hurtful, angry moments in our marriage. Now, what they said to me was, it's not like that anymore. It's better now. But the fact that they could remember those things was embarrassing. And this was the other clincher. I didn't remember some of the things they said. Now, do you think my children were lying? No, ma'am. No, sir. They were not. That's just the point. The children remember more of what we did than we do. Because, see, we in the heat of the moment. And then we go in the bedroom at some point. Because that's a whole nother topic I could talk about. We go in and we make up at some point. But the children are left with those things that we say, which kind of ties back to what I said to you guys last week about how we fight and we say all these things about each other. And then we got to remember the children are half of both of us. So if you're saying, I hate him and all these ugly things about him, then you're teaching the child to hate half of themselves. But then you tell them to be whole and happy and love themselves. It don't work that way. Remember last week I told you I would have given anything for my dad to have told me how he felt or shared any happy moments with me about my mom when I was a child. I promise you I would have been a happier, healthier adult now. So again, I'm not going to be on here long. If you just jumped on and you missed what I had to say, I'm here to tell you that your Christmas tree is screaming, help me. Your Christmas tree or your wreath or those places that you're going to put that food on is screaming, help me. Somebody please help me. Why? Because there's no Mary in your house. But if by chance there is Mary in your house, then I applaud you. Keep doing a great job. Call somebody and encourage them to do the same. If you guys know that there are people in your family that are like the people that I'm describing, how I used to be, then call and have a heart talk with them. And if it's difficult for you to have a conversation with them, ask them to jump on and listen to what I'm saying. I'm here, you guys, to just give you some soul-searching information from God to me to you. I'll be back next Sunday at 6 o'clock with Soul Searching Sunday. I hope that I've said something that's been beneficial to your life tonight. Love you guys. Take care. And so I won't see you. So Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to all of you.